Hello everyone, this is Michelle Sarmento. Welcome to my channel that is all about fashion history, trends, and more. When it's all about accuracy and inaccuracy in period films and series, it depends on the budget, how much the producer cares about their film or series to look very realistic, as if it was taking us into a time machine into the past. Sometimes the producer team careless because they know most people will notice it, and also some costume design teams are pretty bad at looking at details. They just ended up resuming an entire decade as if the fashion in the entire decade was all the same. But as a costume fashion designers, we know each decade is divided into early, mid, and late years. That 90s show took my attention because I remember watching that 70s show, which it was pretty fashion accurate with some flaws because, as I said, sometimes the costume design loves to just round up the entire decade in one shot. And because, after all, what it matters is only to entertain people, not to teach them about fashion history. But one thing I know, this is mostly for films though, that when costume design cares about detail, they win several awards. This is the case of the 1994 film Interview with the Vampire, that I would love to talk about that film soon. But as I say, sometimes in series, how the production team, sometimes they don't care because they know most people won't notice it. But for the ones who care and we notice it, we lose interest in the film or show when the ambience or costume design fails to be accurate or realistic. If it doesn't transport me into the past, I don't care how great is the acting, because what connects people to the past, it is the ambience and the fashion. That 90s show is supposed to take place in 1995. But after looking at some of the episodes, to be honest, I just forwarded because it didn't totally connect me with the year 1995, which I remember really well because at the time I was in high school. And even back then, I was very observant and I knew very well about fashion and trends. I felt that 90s show was inspired more in the early 90s than mid 90s. I felt they got inspired more in the first season of The Prince of Bel-Air, Saved by the Bell, Beverly Hills 90210,
Roseanne,
and singer Vanilla Ice, which all that took place between 1989 to 1991. In this show, I see a lot of high-waist jeans, which became very popular in the early 80s, and they still were popular in the early 90s with some slight variations, as you can see in the first season of Beverly Hills 90210. But by the mid-90s, were more popular regular waist jeans, low-rise jeans, as well boot cuts, and of course a lot of baggy pants and bell bottoms. I do see some mid-90s stuff in this show, as baggy pants and sleek dresses with the underneath shirts, as well as industrial boots. But by mid-90s were a lot of inspiration from the 60s and 70s nostalgia, which I didn't see much in this show. That's what I felt was more from 1990, 1991, perhaps 1992, but definitely not exactly 1995. It would be more accurate if the costume design team would have inspired more in the Clueless film and Empire Records, perhaps The Craft, even though it was from 1996, but it still reflects that mid-90s fashion vibe. Perhaps the Aerosmith Crime video, or Ironic from Alanis Morissette, the Spice Girls, Nirvana, even Four Non Blondes from the video What's Up, which is from 1993, but it still reflects, it feels more 1995 than that 90s show himself.
Check these music videos out. Even though they were released before 1995, it reflects that mid-90s vibe that I would like seeing in that 90s show.
All that mention had that 70s vibe nostalgia that actually it was one of the reasons why that 70s show was created in the first place in 1998, because teams were interested in 70s retro style. In the mid-90s, vintage clothes were very popular among teams. I remember that. I even saw mine 70s vintage clothes at school. I bought mostly vintage clothes because they were very popular. And the students always ask me, where did you get that? platforms were also popular, which I didn't see any in this show. Also, girls use a lot of daisy hairpins or flowers in their hair. That hippie-inspired vibe was very present at the time. I thought, maybe because the show took place in the middle of Wisconsin, maybe people there were really behind fashion trends, but I don't think that was the case. I think the costume design team just wanted to just round up the entire decade. For the ones who are interested in costume design, study costume design, or work in costume design, they're good and passionate about it, will understand what I'm saying. For the rest, might think that I am too much attention to detail and no one will notice it. But I think accuracy in period films, in series, it is important for generations to come to show them the past exactly how it looked like and not confuse them or give it the wrong impression. Because as Churchill said, a nation that forgets his past has no future.
Also, something that I noticed is slightly different from real 90s shows. It is the diversity of the cast, which is great. A total opposite of that 70s show, which was created in the 90s. Cass, the only guy they happen to be from a different ethnicity, is a foreigner.
Well, this is all for today, and
Next,
time for more accuracy and inaccuracy in films or series, so stay tuned. Don't forget to give your thumbs up and subscribe for more fashion history, trends, and more. This is your host, Michelle Sarmiento. Until next time.